Bitcoin can go much, much, much lower. And I've been warning you on this channel. I told you the 58K next for Bitcoin, this Bitcoin pump won't last. And yesterday on the update, I actually drafted this and I said I'm looking for a break below here, 62,200. And then from there, it could free fall. Now, I gave this a smaller possibility. I actually thought the market had enough strength to just push a little bit higher and then reject from there, but it didn't. And that means that this flush, you think it's over, and I see in groups, people that I respect a lot and know what they're talking about are already long in this, and I think it's too early for that. Yesterday in the community, I explained why this liquidity buildup is going to result in the final dagger. That's what we're going to talk about. If you like this content, subscribe to the channel. What I do here every single day, 5 minutes, daily update. What it means is that I've been here since 2015. So what I had 16. So what I do is that I do these 5 to 10 minute updates so you can navigate the market with me. Don't forget, nothing I say is financial advice. Always just my opinion. I'm sharing with you my journey, and you do whatever you want to do. But if you look at the track record, I think it's worth subscribing and joining in the community, which is completely free. Again, I just share my thoughts. You don't have to pay and all that. Okay, let's go. So very important, yesterday on the update, these things work because you follow through. The reason why I posted this also is because people are just like, oh, I'm just gonna watch every second day. The problem is that the market is so fast and it changes so fast that you get lost. And on the channel here, I literally said 2 days ago, this pump won't last. Then I said 58K for Bitcoin, and then the 2 important levels for the short I explained yesterday, and one of them was this. And so one of them was literally this level and the break below here. Once that happened, even if you were in a short, could have been a great short. So the reason why a lot of people are long in is because if you look at this chart, you think it's completely exhausted. And then you think, you know, it's like, oh my God, this is probably exhausted, this and that. The problem is that there is no expensive and cheap when it comes to the markets. You might think, oh, Bitcoin is so cheap now, it's so down, it went down to 59,000 again. Well, guess what? And then what? If you look at the weekly chart, the next stop here is down here at 55, 52,000. And then if that's broken, the next level is down here at 32,000. So there is always a way to go lower unless you have confirmation. So why I believe Bitcoin is going lower is probably a better explanation, better things to start with rather than why I think we could reverse here. One of them is I am in a short. So I told you about this short in the community and I told you about this in the channel. I'm up about $2,500 in this short. And I have the other account that I'm running about 2,800 up. And I'm not closing this. I'm gonna move my stop loss down here most likely, but I'm gonna explain to you why I think the market is going lower. So usually what happens, again, is markets retrace 50%. This is how I could short up here. This is how I could short up here. And this is, I got stopped, right? So here I had a stop loss here. And once I had a break below, I shorted again. And this, since then, Bitcoin went down 7-8%, okay? So the reason why these entries work very well is because the markets always retrace 50%. Currently, on the 4-hour leg, this retrace 50% is about 62,400. That doesn't mean that we need to reverse from this level, but it means that above here, above the premium zone, there has to be a market structure shift, a lower low formed at least on the 15-minute and then on the hourly. You can see this very, very beautiful here. So I want to see the exact same scenario play out, something like this. So if we touch onto the 50% here, which we should, which is about 62,300, that could happen on London session today. I'm going to explain in a second. But if you see that and there's a rejection from there, that's just a confirmation that I, one, have to add to my short, and two, this could go much lower, okay? So that's one thing. Second, I'm going to talk about the lower time frame, but still I want you to understand the higher time frame picture. This is the 4-hour equilibrium, retrace to the 50%. The second, markets always move to liquidity, always. What do you have up here? Nothing. All these relative equal highs has been taken. All this trend line that was here got swept. There is nothing really here. It is building up a trend line liquidity, but if it gets taken, it will go all the way up there, and it's not happening just now. So there's not really any liquidity up here, but there is a major liquidity creation that happened here that I actually posted in the community. And I said, this is gorgeous. Retail will say support held, yet there is an equal low created with bunch of stop losses, violent dagger coming down. Maybe takes days, weeks, but I'd say it's much sooner than we think. So what I think is going to happen is that this here is called a relative equal low. This didn't get liquidated. And if you look at the total market cap, even on the total market cap, this didn't sweep. That's a big freaking problem, and I will tell you why. It is a big problem because these levels, a lot of people will place their stop losses below these levels. And this is artificially engineered liquidity inducement, which means people who long here, and Bitcoin is up about 3, 4, 5% since then. It's up about 4% since then. So rightfully, these people are placing their stop losses and they go, holy shit, I mean, if it doesn't bounce here, well, we go down. Well, guess what? Yes, that's exactly what the market makers want. So I do believe that this liquidity that's been built up here ought to be taken, okay? And once that is taken, it's a very, very violent dagger. And when I mean dagger, like a bam, like a big smash down, possibly down to 52. The good news is that I do believe if that happens, that could potentially be the bottom. I genuinely mean it. So but let's go here and let's see what we can do. So ultimately, these are the main explanations on the higher time frame why I think we're gonna go down. On the lower time frame, and I'm gonna get on to why we could bounce, I'm looking at this. I look at the sessions and I go, okay, well, possibly what we could see is that this starts bouncing here. Usually liquidity gets taken. You see here yesterday we talked about this. There was a liquidity sweep here and the long. We had the trading competition. This is why I was long, because we had a liquidity sweep to the downside, market structure shift to the upside, and then I was expecting a potential continuation. But what happens is that liquidity usually gets swept, and when it's swept, the market goes the opposite direction. So you look here, for example, liquidity is swept on here and on London, and the market goes down. You can look here, liquidity is swept on London and the market goes up. So you can see these patterns playing out almost perfectly. You can see here, for example, liquidity swept, market goes down on New York. Yeah, whatever. Liquidity sweep, market goes up on London. So anyway, you get the point. So here, what I'm really looking at is I'm looking at a little bit of a retrace here, a little bit of a screwing around, a push into this New York OB, right? And then from there on, a rejection. Now, a lot of people say, oh, it's because MicroStrategy and because this and because that and because of Binance and all that. First of all, the chart always tells you the story before, so I have no idea why this dump happened on New York Open, but I know that it did happen and the chart is telling me that it's gonna happen again. So I'm expecting a little bit of a push, something like this, a market structure shift and the continuation lower, sweeping this liquidity. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe in the weekend, but possibly, I think sooner than we actually think. So this is one. If you're not in a short position, I'm not doing anything right now. If you're not in a short, if we close above this level at 63,200, I'm gonna monitor the market. But if we close above violently, I'm probably gonna close my short position and I'll take the small profit that I'm gonna make instead of the 5, 6, 7 grand that I was supposed to. But it's fine. So the counter argument to this is that the market has been coming down very viciously. And on the 1 hour chart, there is a very strong market structure level here. So if this level was to be broken today, it has to be broken violently, today, tomorrow, a V-shaped recovery onto this level, I would be interested in taking a long position. And the reason is because even though this is not a level on the 4 hour, let me just see actually on the total market cap. Yeah, so this is not a level, this is not a strong level on the hourly and the 4 hour chart. I do believe that on the 1 hour chart, this is a strong level and it could result in a V-shaped recovery and a potential complete recovery to all the way up here, 67, 68, 69. And then maybe throughout September, August, whenever Wall Street guys come back from holiday, we could see this final sweep down. We have to take it level by level. But the truth is, if you have been following me for long enough, I sold on October 18th. That's up here. I rather look at something like Solana that I completely sold, right? So you look here, Solana October 18th, up here. I sold up here. Solana is down 65%. If Solana recovers to $100, I'm still gonna buy 48% lower. So I'm not worried about, if I miss a pump and whatever, but you have to pay attention. Bitcoin is down over 50% now, 52%, which is generally marked the bottom in bear markets. I do believe we're gonna chop around here. This is something, a probable scenario that I can imagine. So this is what I wanna see playing out, or I imagine could happen. But you have to play it very, very safe. Gotta be alert. All I can say is come back every single day. This is the time to lock in. I think we're gonna reject here TLDR. I think we're gonna go a little bit higher, reject from there and go much lower. Short in, I'm gonna add to a short or open new shorts. If that happens, liquidity will be swept here at around 57. And then from there, we could see a bounce. We have to take it level by level. Come back every single day, subscribe to the channel, join 40,000 whatever people that are there, and join in on the community. Guys, much love, take care, and I'll see you tomorrow in the next one. Ciao.